The headlines: National Judicial Council recommends Justice Kekere Ekun as CJN. Ogun moves to vacate aircraft seizure order, falls Chinese firms fraudulent legal process. Nigeria's inflation rate drops for the first time in 19 months at 33.40% in July. And on the foreign scene, magnitude 5.4 quake shakes northeastern Taiwan. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us, and now the details. The National Judicial Council, the NJC, has recommended Justice Kudirat Motomori Kekere-Ekun to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for appointment as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN. Disclosing this in a statement on Thursday, NJC spokesman Soji Oye said the decision was taken following the Council's 106th meeting presided over by the CJN Justice Olukayode Ariola. He said the meeting was held on August 14th and 15th in Abuja, just 7 days before the retirement of Justice Ariola as the CJN. Justice Olukayode Ariola was appointed as the CJN on September 21st, 2022 by former President Muhammadu Buhari. He is billed to bow out on August 22nd when he will attain the mandatory retirement age of 70. Already, the Supreme Court currently has the full complement of 21 justices. In the long tradition of the Apex Court, the next most senior justice will likely step in. By their hierarchies, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun is the most senior justice on the Apex Court bench and is the likeliest successor. Ogun State government on Thursday faulted the judicial process that led to the provisional attachment of 3 Nigerian government-owned aircraft in France by the Judicial Court of Paris in 7th March and 2nd August 2024. A Chinese company, Zhongshan Fusheng Industrial Investment Co. Limited, had sought several orders from the court over an aborted underlying contract between the company and Ogun State government, which was initiated in 2007. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the Governor on Media and Strategy, Kayode Akimade, the Ogun State government described the latest development as the new antics by the Chinese company to appropriate Nigerian assets in foreign jurisdictions as part of efforts, and that effort had continually failed. The statement described the whole legal process as nothing but a total charade with fraudulent notion, adding that the company deliberately concealed the litigation from both the Nigerian government and Ogun State, as well as their legal counsels, before hurriedly securing orders of seizure. It added that the company must have misled the Judicial Court of Paris as the use and nature of the asset is sought to attach and not made full disclosure to the court as required by law. According to the statement, Ogun State, together with the federal government, had already taken immediate action to ensure that those provisional attachments are lifted quickly, even as it accused the company of reneging on the earlier discussion for the amicable resolution of the case. In the meantime, the federal government of Nigeria has accused the Chinese company Zhongshan Fusheng Industrial Limited Investment Co. Limited of subterfuge after a French court ruled in favor of the firm and granted the seizure of presidential jets belonging to the Nigerian government. In a statement on Thursday, presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga alleged that the Chinese firm is trying to take over offshore assets of the federal government of Nigeria through subterfuge. In the dispute involving an arbitration award, the court in Paris ruled in favor of the Chinese firm, allowing it to seize 3 presidential jets on routine maintenance in France as security for claims in a decades-long judicial matter between the foreign company and the Ogun State government. A bus belonging to the Lagos State regulated bus Rapid Transit traveling from Mile 2 terminal to Lagos Island was on Thursday attacked by suspected hoodlums. The incident occurred around Alaba Suru, where occupants were robbed by their belongings. A video of the attack, which began trending on Thursday, showed that the window glasses of the bus were shattered by the hoodlums. In a reaction, the senior special assistant on new media to the Lagos State Governor, Jibril Gawat, announced that the Lagos State Task Force, led by CSP Tayo Akerele, has deployed security officers in the BRT route across the state, starting from the Alaba Suru area where the attack occurred.
Going to the island, all of a sudden the incident happened. There were a lot of boys throwing stones at the bus where we were loading. There were passengers as well going down to the island. Actually there was traffic, so we thought there was normal traffic, so we were going. All of a sudden we saw boys, plenty of them coming down from Ogile, coming down to Alaba. So the next thing, they stopped the first two buses before ahead of us. Then they faced the BRT buses. They said, I'm about bus again, I want it. Then they start shedding the bus, throwing stones. This is what happened. This is the bus. So I got to do the video. So everybody was robbed inside the bus as well. We were all robbed, collected our phone. I have to use someone else's phone. Some of the staff was injured, the POS, the vendors as well. So now the enforcement was there. So we had that the incident happened due to the Lamata enforcement that was trying to... So this is the bus 216. Everywhere was all glass broken. Shogbe back here. Oh, babe.
The National Association of Resident Doctors has urged the federal government and security agencies to immediately rescue their colleague, Ganiat Popola, who has been missing for 7 months following her abduction in Kaduna. Popola, a medical practitioner at the National Eye Care Kaduna, was kidnapped along with her husband and visiting nephew by suspected bandits on December 27, 2023 at the staff quarters. Bella Musa has more.
With pens written on their faces, the doctors took to the street on a peaceful protest at the National Eye Care Center Kaduna and warning that if their colleague is not rescued promptly, they will be forced to initiate a nationwide industrial action. President of the National Eye Care Center Kaduna branch, Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim, led the protest and called on security agencies to redouble their effort in securing the release of Dr. Popola and her nephew. He noted that Popola's husband had been released due to his deteriorating health.
Unfortunately, as we speak, it's been almost 8 months in few days. Only the husband has been released on the ground of deteriorating health condition after over 2 months of continuous negotiation by the family. Last we know, Dr. Popola is alive, but in a very poor health condition. This should not be happening in a country where doctors are needed because of low doctor-to-patient ratio. If Dr. Popola is not released unconditionally, the association cannot guarantee any industrial harmony.
So it's really a very painful issue for us. You know, hearing that they sleep under the rain, they shine, mosquito bites, they are fed once in 3 days, as if they are in a dungeon. It's really in your own country.
The acting medical director of the center, Aminatu Abdurrahman, lamented the ongoing exodus of medical professionals from Nigeria due to safety and welfare issues.
Life has become so expensive, you know, with the fuel subsidy gone, with the rise in electricity tariff, with the depreciation in the value of the naira. So any little money anybody is earning in whatever capacity can do much, much less. It's more glaring in the health sector because these are professionals that are very critical. But in every other sector, people who have skills that they can take to other countries and be paid for them. They are living in droves. Who will stay now and build this country when the best have left?
She urged security agencies and other stakeholders to intensify effort to rescue the abducted doctor, highlighting that such prolonged abductions are unacceptable in a country known for its military strength. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has denied that its ex-formerly Twitter account has been hacked. There are speculations that the suspected internet fraudsters who threatened to wage cyber warfare against the EFCC had hacked the anti-graft agency's X account. According to reports, some internet fraudsters had accused the Anti-Graft Commission of disregarding constitutional norms in cracking down on dubious activities among Nigerians online. Checks on the account on Thursday morning showed that the account was not available. However, the agency's website and other social media pages, such as Facebook and Instagram, were functional. Speaking in an interview on Thursday, the EFCC spokesman Dele Oyewole said the glitch was as a result of an update done by the agency's account. He assured that the account will soon be accessible to the populace. The Nigerian Labour Congress has accused the federal government of declaring war against the organization following the recent raid on its headquarters by security forces. At a press conference in Abuja on Thursday, NLC leaders rejected the police explanation for the invasion and demanded an apology, as well as the return of seized items and the release of detained individuals. The NLC also criticized government attempts to interfere with the organization's internal affairs, including a proposed reduction in the tenure of trade union leaders. They argued that this violates labor laws and international conventions. Recall that the police had claimed that the raid on the headquarters of the NLC was aimed at apprehending an international terrorist suspect, but the NLC dismissed this as a cover-up, pointing out contradictions in the police account. The NLC reiterated its demand for a stakeholders conference to address pressing national issues, including hunger, poverty, and insecurity. The Plateau state government has fully lifted the curfew imposed on the Jos Bukuru metropolis following the peaceful conduct of residents and an improvement in the security situation. In a statement by the Director of Press and Public Affairs, Gyang Bere, Governor Caleb Mutfwang said the move came after thorough consultations with security agencies. He said this will allow citizens to resume their economic and lawful activities while maintaining public order. Governor Mutfwang expressed gratitude to the citizens of the steadfast patriotism and cooperation during the challenging period and assured them of his unwavering commitment to their well-being. Mutfwang also commended the security personnel for their dedication and effective enforcement of the curfew. The Plateau governor is calling for continued collaboration between residents and security agencies in ensuring the safety of lives and properties across the country. A little over 1 year since the emergence of a new government in the country, some politicians who were opposing the ruling party are beginning to tilt towards its direction. While politicians say it is their right to enshrine in Nigeria's constitution to freely associate with any political organization, political analysts warn that the development is negatively affecting the democratic process and country's development at large. From Gombe, Hassan Koli has more.
Politics in the country has over the years been seen as driven not by ideology but pecuniary interests of the practitioners, as politicians often switch from one party to another. While some have attributed this to the attraction of appointments and other personal gains, others find that the switch could be driven by internal party crisis, fear of falling into irrelevance, and deliberate fortune by the ruling party.
The members of the Senate, House of Representatives, House of Assembly, they are elected into this office to serve a particular tenure, and they are sponsored by a political party. And therefore, it presupposes that being sponsored by a political party, they are supposed to serve the tenure within that space of time that the Constitution allowed. But in Section 68 of the 1999 Constitution, sub 1 following, and then section 109 of the 1999 Constitution provides that if for as long as you are being elected into office on a particular platform, you're supposed to serve that term, the 4-year term, on that platform without decamping. For any reason, if there should be a reason for anybody to decamp from his political party that sponsored him to be on that particular seat, the Constitution provided clearly the only condition that the person might decamp, it will only be when that particular political party that sponsors him either dissolved or merged into another political party for some obvious reason within that particular tenure, or that within the period in time there has been so much faction from the national level of that particular party, so that there is a divide. Those are the only proviso that gives a leeway for any member of either Senate, House of Reps, or the State House of Assembly that will warrant the person decamping.
For political analysts, voters must be blamed for trusting politicians that often decamp from one party to other. They want voters to use their balloting right to halt such attitudes.
Defecting from one party to another or decamping from one party to another is becoming an order of the day. And more often than not, people encourage that. Why? Because even if a candidate defects, you find that they will follow him and vote for him. And this is very dangerous for democracy, and is not helping democracy, particularly party politics. So therefore, my call here is the electorate should be careful of encouraging defection from one party to another, because it's not a good symptom, it's not a good sign of democracy. It shows lack of maturity in democracy. And that is why leaders are not accountable. Our democracy is not paying the dividends it is expected to pay, and we are seeing underdevelopment here and there.
With most voters not considering the ideology of candidates and parties while casting their votes, this trend and others will continue affecting Nigeria's democratic system, as pointed out by political scientists. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
Moving on, no fewer than 17 people have been killed, while 227 sustained minor injuries as a result of severe flooding that displaced 18,457 people across the 16 local government areas of Yobe State. The Executive Secretary of the Yobe State Emergency Management Agency, YOSEMA, Mohammed Goje, confirmed this when the agency's team visited Karasua, Yusufari, Mashina and Unguru local government area to commiserate with victims of the flood disaster. He said the SEMA's team had conducted a rapid needs assessment in the 16 affected local government areas where 5,953 households, which contained 18,457 people in the 208 communities, were affected. He added that from April 2024 to date, at least 227 people sustained injuries but have been treated free and discharged. According to him, the majority of the affected communities have reintegrated into the host community, while others displaced by the disaster are currently taking refuge with relatives as well as in government buildings. He also advocates for resources to clear waterways through relevant MDAs and as well plan for a lasting solution for places that have a recurring history of flooding and blockage. After weeks of minimal rainfall across Adamawa State and other regions of Nigeria, crops are wilting under the drought conditions. Climate experts are raising alarms, warning that without immediate action, human activities could trigger a devastating hunger crisis across the country. Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
It's August, a month typically marked by heavy rains. Yet, there's been a weeks-long dry spell. Hassan Adamu, a 63-year-old farmer from Yola South, is grappling with drought conditions that are threatening his livelihood. Having farmed for over 5 decades, Adamu is deeply concerned about this year's erratic rainfall, a worry shared by many farmers in the region.
Ba ma lokacin da kamar shinkafa na kai kamar haka ba. To in na zo din sai na nade kafan wando na kafin in shiga wannan gona.
But this time last year, my rice farm was in good condition. But this year, the situation is bad.
Ruwan Allah dan dagaita mana ruwan.
This is the plea echoing from every farmer in the state and beyond, driving them to seek divine intervention in the face of worsening drought conditions.
To al'amarin bana a bisa gaskiya ba mu ji daɗin sa ba.
In August, we usually have heavy downpours, but this time around, it is a different story and we are not happy.
The impact of climate change driven by human activities is severely affecting crops.
Even happening to our animals. So definitely, we really have to start thinking outside the box.
As farmers like Adamu continue to seek divine intervention, experts urge both government and non-governmental organizations to step in and address this global issue.
We've turned ourselves from our traditional system. We have some crops that are actually adaptable to this relatively, but we've deviated from them, where our cropping system have concentrated largely on rice and maize.
Now that the rain is not feasible, now that what we used to have naturally coming down from heaven is no longer coming down the way we want it, we have to find an option. And what option do we need to do? That means we have to go back and draw a different plan, maybe integrate irrigation farming in our farming activities.
For Adamu and his peers, shifting rainfall patterns may necessitate finding new sources of livelihood. Gibson Soadgo, Trust TV News, Yola.
In business, Nigeria's inflation figure recorded its first decline in 19 months, dropping to 33.40% in the month of July. A report by the National Bureau of Statistics, the NBS, stated that the drop when compared to the 34.19% recording in June was 0.8 percentage points. On a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 9.32 percentage points higher compared to the rate recorded in July 2023, which was 24.8%. On the foreign scene, a 5.4 magnitude earthquake hit northeastern Taiwan on Thursday, the U.S. Geological Survey said, with the tremor shaking buildings in Taipei but causing no major damage. Taiwan's Central Weather Administration, CWA, puts the magnitude of the quake, which hit just after 5 p.m. at 5.7. According to the USGS, it hit a shallow depth of 11 kilometers in the sea, about 44 kilometers southeast of Yilan County. And finally, in sports, following their recent slump in form and poor performance, Nigeria's men's basketball team, the Tigers, has dropped in the latest FIBA ranking. The Nigerian side failed to qualify for the just concluded 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, France. According to the latest ranking released on Thursday afternoon by FIBA, the Tigers garnered 299.7 points to drop 4 places to 42nd in the world. The Nigerians also placed 6th in Africa, with South Sudan remaining the best-ranked African team. And with that, we wrap up News Update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.